Good morning or afternoon or middle of the night, whenever you happen to be watching this. Megan Miller, thank you so much for letting me have the opportunity to talk about something I am super passionate about, which is saving the world with open educational resources. I'm Dr. Maggie Pavone. Over there, you can see my university where I work in St. Charles, Missouri. Lindenwood has a master's degree program in ABA, and we're looking at adopting OERs through our entire program. We're not quite there yet. But I'm going to talk today about why I think they're so important. So, what is an OER? In 2019, OERs were defined as teaching, learning, and research materials in any medium that reside in the public domain. Basically, it means that these are resources that we can use that give us no cost access, use, and adoption into our coursework or educational materials. An OER allows you to retain the resource, reuse it, revise it, remix it, make it something different, and redistribute it in a way that you think is appropriate. If you see this special community Creative Commons license, you'll know that you're working with an OER. So who cares? Your students care. Hey, student loans, they're already paying enough. The parents you work with, they don't want to buy more stuff. They're already spending money on you and your services. So OERs can mitigate some of those costs for those populations. The other people that can benefit greatly here are the ones that might do great work with our science, but they don't contact ABA in a clinical or educational setting. So to me, this is everyone you've ever encountered who does something stupid, and you're like, oh, I wish they understood behavior. Some facts about OERs. OERs actually are shown to improve student performance and retention, especially in traditionally underrepresented populations. So, first generation or non white students or learners. We have a couple of models in ABA, but not many. We really need to work on that. Other benefits of OERs and ABA include ethical compliance. Did you know, and hopefully you do, that we actually have a section in the PEC that states we have to honor intellectual property by understanding and seeking permission to use it appropriately? Also, to communicate those rights when we make our own resources. Another benefit might be that science can move forward faster. When we can edit these resources by a large community, it means that our quality will continue to evolve and will meet educational standards, course sequence requirements, and uniquely learner needs faster. It might also show a way to be more representative in our work. So OERs tend to reflect the diversity of the field, which and not just reflect the things that are done in academic settings. I think Skinner also pushes us to OERs. In Beyond Freedom and Dignity, he said that our culture has produced the science and technology it needs to save itself, but we aren't using it yet, or we're not distributing it in a way that everyone can use it. We have not yet seen what man can make of man. So imagine for a moment a Walden world, if you will. What if everyone you encountered engineered environments that enhance well being using the science of human behavior? To do that, they'd have to have access to our science, and OERs are one way to get more people on board. So why don't we use OERs to choose or not to choose to save or not to save? Um, our science has some ideas here. So immediate consequences outweigh delayed ones. OERs tend not to receive the same type of consequences that traditional publication do. You have to wait and see that world-saving effect. But as a community, we could provide a lot of social reinforcement for OER creators, and we could start to build reinforcement in the organizational context in which we work. Perhaps creating OERs could be part of a promotion rubric. Another reason we might not choose OERs at this time is that the consequences for the individual tend to outweigh the consequences for the group. So, saving the world doesn't tend to be a really highly valued consequence when it comes to getting more money or using your time to get something immediate. But if we've learned anything from Corona, I think it's that we're in this together. More people with better science means more progress and more creativity that we can't create on our own. So these should start to be things that we think about to outweigh that individual versus group consequence. We also know that familiar ideas are typically favored over new and unfamiliar ones. OERs are weird and wacky and wonderfully wildly new, but they have to replace the things that we are already very familiar with in terms of the way we get and create resources to spread our science. We could start to change that by teaching OER and their value early, perhaps in an undergraduate program or even earlier. We could also start to normalize OER instead of the practices we already normalize, like peer reviewed publication. So we have 7.53 billion humans to reach right now. If our field really values diversity and inclusion, access to high quality and low cost educational materials must be part of that solution. Dr. Howard and I are also really pushing this agenda over at the openbehaviorsig.org or on facebook.com/behavioroersig. That's where you can join our special interest group that is dedicated entirely to OERs in applied behavior analysis. Thank you so much. This has been a joy.